BPC-157, the healing miracle peptide. Influencers swear by it. Clinics sell it. And the FDA just changed its status, which half the internet read as a green light. So I did something most of those people didn't. I pulled every study. All of them. What I found is one number that tells you almost everything. I'm a US physician, and this is what the evidence actually says. The pitch is enormous. Heals tendons and ligaments. Repairs your gut. Speeds recovery from almost any injury. A near-universal regenerative compound available by mail order. Those are big, confident promises. Science has a simple way to test promises like these. So let's hold BPC-157 up to it. Here it is. A 2025 systematic review screened 544 papers on BPC-157 going back to 1993. After filtering for actual studies, 36 remained. Of those 36, 35 were preclinical, mostly rats and mice. Exactly one was a human clinical study, 35-1. And that single human study? A retrospective look at 12 people who got a BPC-157 injection for chronic knee pain. 7 of them reported relief. No control group, no placebo, results gathered after the fact. That's the strongest human evidence that exists. Decades of research, and we still have essentially no controlled human data. Now, here's where the honest version gets interesting, because this isn't nothing. In animals, BPC-157 is genuinely impressive. Across rat and mouse models, it improved healing in muscle, tendon, ligament, and bone. For example, a 2011 animal study found it accelerated tendon healing by promoting the outgrowth and migration of the tendon's own cells. A real, specific mechanism, not just a vague claim. And in those animal studies, the safety signal was clean. So the preclinical case is legitimately promising. Here's the honest caveat, though. Animal results sometimes carry over to humans, and sometimes they don't. The only way to know is to run the trials. Promising is not the same as proven, but promising is still promising. And 2 more things you need to know. First, much of the foundational research traces back to a single group in Croatia. One lab producing most of the positive data is a flag, not a verdict, but it means independent confirmation is still thin. Second, the human safety data is essentially 0. And because no licensed pharmacy can cleanly compound it right now, most of what people buy comes from gray market research-only vendors, where purity and dose are unverified. So you'd be stacking an unproven compound on top of an unregulated supply. So here's the honest bottom line. BPC-157 isn't snake oil. The science is genuinely interesting. But it isn't a proven therapy either, because the human evidence barely exists. Anyone selling you certainty in either direction is selling you something. Here's what's about to change, though. The first real placebo-controlled human trial is recruiting right now, with results expected in 2027. When that data lands, I'll read it and report back. Subscribe so you don't miss it. That's the fine print.